Access, May 10, 2024. Integrating Neuroinclusive Pedagogy into Practice. Dr. Andrew Buck, Anirudh Subramaniam.
Thank you for the introduction, Caitlin. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrew Buck, and I'm a researcher at the Ohio State University Nisonger Center. I'm a white man with short brown hair and beard, and invite my co-presenter to introduce himself.
Thank you, Dr. Buck. My name is Anirudh Subramaniam. I am an undergraduate student at The Ohio State University. I am an Indian man with a beard, black hair, and glasses.
And today we'll be presenting on integrating neuro-inclusive pedagogy into practice. I'd like to begin with some quick stats. Recent reports from 2019-20 have shown that about 1 in 5 undergraduates and about 11% of graduate students report having a disability. Although we also have reports that about a third of students with disabilities actually inform their schools. So we know there's a large population of students integrated into our campuses, and there's an ongoing need to continue to improve inclusive campus culture. Currently, we're implementing 3 projects. In one, we're gathering the perspectives of faculty and staff on serving neurodivergent students and those with disabilities through a survey. We're also gathering strategies and recommendations from students through interviews on ways that we can improve their success in school. And then lastly, we're in the beginning phases of developing an open source training program for educators that's informed by student voice. And now I'd like to pass it over to Rudy.
Thank you, Dr. Buck. My name is Anirudh, and sometimes I also go by Rudy. This is my first research project ever, so it is called Attitudes Towards Neurodiversity in College Environments, and it is exploring faculty and staff perspectives through a multimodal survey. Next slide, please. The project objectives are the primary objective is to understand the faculty and staff perspectives regarding neurodivergence. And the second objective is by using a Likert scale questionnaire, identify key areas that educators lack confidence in when it comes to serving neurodivergent students. Next slide. So for our survey, we had about 30 respondents, and a majority of them were white female professors. 77% of our respondents were totally faculty, and out of the 30 respondents, 53% were in STEM and 2/3 were female. And as I mentioned earlier, a majority, 77% of the respondents were white, non-Hispanic. So in our survey, we used Likert scale statements branched out into 4 categories, targeting exclusive areas of pedagogy and asking them how are their feelings in regards to neurodivergent students, and how is it regard to neurotypical students. Instead of directly going and asking them about neurotypical students, we simply mention the whole class. And by mentioning the whole class, we imply that the student is neurotypical. And through these Likert scale questions, we gathered an average agreeability score. The more they agreed with the statements, the higher their score is. And as you can see, when it comes to positive statements in regards to neurodivergent people, faculty and staff had less agreeability than it is compared to the whole class statements, which is implying about neurotypical students. This results in faculty and staff having a bias against neurodivergent students because they agree more with neurotypical students rather than neurodivergent students. Next slide, please. So in negative statements, you can see that the whole class section had a lower score. However, when we come to interpret this graph, we have to think of it like golf. The lower the score, the much better it is. So if you score a higher average agreeability on the positive index and a lower average agreeability on the negative index, this confirms that you have a positive bias towards a specific group. And in our case, it is the neurotypical group as implied by the whole class statement. As you can see, the neurodivergent students had a higher agreeability index to negative statements. So in regards to these statements, and as I'll include in these key findings, is that we use statements, for example, some of our positive statements were things like, I agree that my students truly succeed in my class. And we pair that up with, I agree that neurodivergent students truly succeed in my class. That helps us gauge the insight and focuses on key areas of pedagogy. And overall findings that we found is that respondents were less likely to agree that neurodivergent students truly succeed in their class. They don't really understand and apply the concepts in their class, and they have difficulties communicating easily with them. And through this survey, we can piece together the key educational aspects, communication being the most crucial of them as a barrier towards neurodivergent student success in college. And I'll leave it to Dr. Buck, who will share his measure on helping neurodivergent students in STEM succeed in college.
So our second project falls under the umbrella of a National Science Foundation Includes initiative known as the Alliance of Students with Disabilities for Inclusion, Networking, and Transition Opportunities in STEM, or Tapped into STEM. Our main project objectives are to increase the quantity of students with disabilities completing STEM degrees, supporting their facilitation into graduate programs and the workforce, or their transition rather into those areas, as well as enhancing overall the communication and collaboration amongst partners. Tapped into STEM is comprised of 6 regional hubs and over 30 schools, led by Auburn University in the Southeast Hub, with the Ohio State University leading the Northeast Hub with some of these other partners listed. You can visit our website at tappedintostem.org for more information. A key intervention in this project is a model of mentorship known as the Bridge model, where we have a philosophy that mentorship is multi-directional. It's not a hierarchical or top-down model, but faculty and staff mentor students and can also receive learning from them as well as from seniors down through freshmen and freshmen back to seniors. We engage in monthly team meetings with this cohort, and students engage in cluster group or peer-to-peer meetings in between those monthly meetings on a weekly basis. Our website features a mentoring manual that guides our process for mentorship that I invite you to explore. As part of this project, the Northeast Hub is conducting research that's focused on autistic STEM students and conducting interviews to better understand support services that are highly valued, that promote their academic, employment, and social success. And some key facilitators of success that we've found are listed here, including developing more awareness, trust, and respect, as well as a friendly and flexible approach towards students and the education process. Academic accommodations are also highly mentioned, as well as already embedded school support staff and systems. Social support programs and community groups such as student organizations were also key to success, as well as educational technology and personal devices that support blended learning and multimodal instruction. Barriers on the other side include rigid, strict, and inflexible approaches to teaching and learning, students having difficulty accessing their accommodations, exclusionary academic assessments and social expectations, inaccessible course materials and pedagogical practices, as well as the cost of education, which is something all students can relate to. Significantly, a barrier for this student population is the time and commitment that's required to engage in their support needs. So in learning more about faculty and staff perspectives about concerns and needs that they have in serving this population and better understanding self-reported strategies to support student success, we're now in the process of starting to develop a professional development program for educators informed by student voice that Anirudh will describe.
Thank you, Dr. Buck. The goal of the Neurodiversity Awareness in Faculty initiative is to develop an open source, self-paced training module that basically seems to address and help implement effective long-term solutions to improve neurodivergent student success and integration into higher ed and academia. Next slide. So we're currently right now in the alpha phase. We have a theoretical training concept that follows 3 modules. The first module goes over neurodiversity and neurodivergence, and most importantly, the terms regarding it, so that instructors can much better understand if neurodivergent students were to come to them and explain their identity. Module 2 is the most crucial, as it explores neurodivergent learning styles, communication styles, and also processing styles, and also how can we implement universal design in a multimodal fashion so that everyone, even neurotypical students, can have a positive learning environment. And number 3, we focus on easily and readily implementable solutions to ensure that neurodivergent students can have a meaningful educational experience. And this, if you can go to it, is a QR code to the alpha release training modules, where you can sort of see what we have developed with so far, and we'll be basing our work of what we have done here to have a much more robust and much more applicable training module so that instructors can better serve neurodivergent students. And thank you guys so much for listening to us, and please feel free to ask us any questions that you have.
Thank you so much to the both of you. At this time, we have about 2 minutes for questions. So anyone in the audience, if you would like to ask our 2 presenters any questions, you can navigate to the Q&A feature, which will be either at the bottom of your screen or at the top of your screen in the icon bar, depending on what device you are on. And if you 2 would like to share any of your contact information through the chat, please feel free to do so. We do have a question that came in asking just to share the link again, as they had difficulty getting the QR code. If you want to share the, excellent, yeah, if you want to share the QR code again. All right, we have a question coming in from Melinda saying, do you expect your project to be applicable to multiple education levels, or is it more geared towards higher education?
Thank you for the question. Right now, our project and our work is based in tertiary education, so we are focused on undergraduate and graduate students. Future work and certainly current work exists in those mentorship models reaching down into the K-12 system as well.
Excellent, thank you very much. From Sarah, we have a question. What efforts do you see to emphasize that neurodivergent means more than just autism and ADD/ADHD?
Anirudh, would you like to address that?
Sure. So in order to broaden the definition of neurodivergent, we hope to have multiple examples of how having different conditions, or you're just of trying to explain how neurodivergent basically means thinking apart from the norm, having a much more different lens. And through the definitions module of our training initiative, we hope to sort of bring about a much more expanded definition so that people who are not formally diagnosed can still be included and can still be cared for using the solutions that we propose.
Sci Access. Learn more at www.sciaccess.org.